At 10 o'clock, Quincy Regional Airport is now a step closer to a new essential air service.
Tonight, the City Council voted on the subcommittee's recommendation to approve Contour Airlines. WGEM's Gianni Peterson is here now to show us what was decided at the meeting. Gianni.
There were many conversations regarding this recommendation, but ultimately, the council voted to approve Contour as their recommended airline. The main questions concern Contour's proposal and how the subcommittee wants to start only with flights to Chicago to start. The hope is after 6 months of reliable air service, the airport can add flights, most likely to Nashville. Once reliability has been established, the city will revisit the idea of flights to different locations. There's still a lot ahead until Contour can officially be named the new air provider, though.
We will send an official letter to our contact at Department of Transportation, EAS, and we also will contact the CEO of Contour, let them know of the discussions tonight, get everybody working together.
Trope says the decision of who the next airline will be is now in the hands of the Department of Transportation, but the city recommendation certainly helps. Looking ahead, Mayor Trope does not have a timetable of when the new airline will start flights. They're hoping to get things up and running around May. Daniel?
All right, thank you, Gianni. Mayor Trope is also hoping to have the letter sent to the Department of Transportation within the week.